Hey guys, I'm Elizabeth McCravey, a website designer and business coach for entrepreneurs and your host for the Breakthrough Brand podcast, the show that's all about pulling back the curtain on how to actually build a successful business. I don't skim the surface around here. If you want a deep dive into the nitty-gritty details of what it takes to run a successful business and stand out in a crowd, you're in the right place. After creating a multiple six-figure-a-year website design business in my 20s, I'm ready to share everything I've learned and everything I'm still learning because I believe the keys to building a thriving business should never be a secret. Here you'll find episodes that are actionable, direct, and fun, like friends chatting business over coffee, and a fresh, honest take on the reality of being an entrepreneur. If you're ready to master online marketing, branding, website design, mindset, and business strategy, then this is the podcast for you. It's time to build your breakthrough brand. Let's do this. All right, guys. So today we are talking about contracts. And contracts, oh my gosh, what a headache they can be if we're being honest, right? You're on a budget, so maybe you DIY and write your own contract, but now it's missing things and you're always nervous because you know it might not stand up in court if someone were to actually, worst case scenario, sue you. Or maybe your contract is so confusing that you yourself don't even understand what you're saying, or you don't know how you would enforce it if you needed to. Or maybe you don't have any contract yet in your business and you're just kind of doing like the handshake method, hoping your clients pay you, hoping they don't sue you, hoping the whole project works out fine and all that stuff. So I've actually been like in all those boats basically. So no shame. I'm not here to shame. Seriously. And any other designers listening have probably been in one of those boats as well at some point in their business. But here's what I can tell you. I can tell you that you need a contract that is these three things. So one, that you understand. Two, that is truly comprehensive enough to protect you even from the things you're not thinking about yet, maybe because they haven't happened for you yet in your business. And then three is very custom to a design business. So not just a generic service, hodgepodge contract from Google for like any service business. So in today's episode, though, I'm going to share two contract clauses in particular that designers need to have that are very specific to design businesses and are ones that, like, honestly, you might not think about. These are ones I feel like people don't talk about much and you might not think about until it's like after the fact and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I'd had that in my contract. And even more specifically, these clauses relate to helping you make more money as a designer, which might sound like, wait, how does that relate to a contract? You'll see as I share them, how they relate to contracts. But we all want contracts that both protect ourselves and protect the client, but these are both protecting you and benefiting the client and helping you make more money. So let's dive into it. Okay, so before I get into the first clause, I just gotta say, I can't tell you about design contracts without telling you about a huge update I just made to my course, Booked Out Designer. Now, you've probably heard me talk about Booked Out Designer if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, but it is my course and coaching program for designers that teach you how to run an in-demand design business. So it's like the business side design. We have coaching, we have an awesome community, and it's just an amazing, amazing course. So in Booked Out Designer, though, since day one of creating that course, I've always offered multiple lessons about contracts for designers, even including clauses that you need but might be missing, and links to like a suggested spot to buy your own contract where I'm like telling you, here are like some clause ideas, but here's like a spot where you can buy your own. But now it's even better. So I've taken it up like a bunch of notches basically. So now inside of Booked Out Designer, you're not just getting like, here are some ideas for things you should include. You are getting a complete attorney drafted contract for brand and website designers that is only available to Booked Out Designer students. Yep, you literally cannot buy this contract anywhere, but it is absolutely free to you when you join Booked Out Designer. So it includes contract clauses in it that I worked with my attorney friend Kaylee to draft just for you. So we talked together. I was like, these are the things that I think designers need. I looked over everything with her, like, can we add this? Can we change this? Can we make this more clear? We worked on this together. It's absolutely amazing. And the way it works is that you'll be able to simply download the contract template within that lesson inside the course. You download it, you customize it for your business, and then you can start using it today to work on your next project with your next client, whether it's your first client or whether you've been in business a while using another contract and you're like ready to up level that so you can be really confident that it's going to work for you. So I'm so pumped about this part of the course. If you're already in Book.Designer, head to the lesson on legal and financial stuff, the module rather, on that whole section, and you'll be able to find it there. And if you're not in Book.Designer yet, you can get more info if you go to elizabethmccravey.com/BOD, short for Book.Designer. Again, this amazing contract is not sold anywhere else. You can literally only get this inside of Book.Designer, and stay tuned because actually at the time this airs, next week is what I'm coining Booked Out Week, where I'm going to have tons of awesome content on this podcast to help inspire you in your design business. And additionally, we're going to have some special perks and promos happening for Book.Designer. So go take a look at it and then join me for Booked Out Week and come get the amazing 90 lesson course, including this contract template, lots of other templates for you as well, and then the coaching and community with me. So that is it. Now, before I get into the 2 clauses I want to share, I have one more thing. I promise this is short. I want to state though, I'm not a lawyer. You guys know that, but I'm not a lawyer and cannot give legal advice or be held liable for any advice given. So this is not legal advice. This is not legal advice custom to your business. You should talk with an attorney for any questions about this kind of stuff. But the contracts that contain these 2 clauses I'm going to talk about are drafted by an attorney for my course. So you can get exactly what to say as drafted by an attorney when you buy Book.Designer, but I'm not going to be sharing on this podcast language, any of the legal language to use because again, I'm not a lawyer. So I'm going to tell you about these contract clauses more of friend to friend. But if you want to get them written out completely ready to go as an attorney drafted contract, you can get inside of Book.Designer. So first one, y'all, this is huge. Okay. The first one is a clause that will require clients to keep their site credit. So this one is one that just applies to website designers. The second clause is going to apply to website designers and brand designers. But this one's just for website designers. And it's really a unique clause that not enough designers are using. And you probably aren't going to find anything about this in most contract templates you can buy for designers. So here's what I mean by this though. As a website designer, you should be putting a site credit on the footer of your client's site. So thinking about their website's been designed, you have a standardized footer, right? That's on every page of the site. In that footer, there should be text that either says something like site credit or site design by your business name. I typically most often do just the term site credit because if you put design by your whole name, that might take up a lot of space that they don't want in their footer. But you have that in the footer of your client site. And maybe that text, when it's clicked on, you could have it linked directly to your own website where someone clicks it, it opens to your homepage. Maybe alternatively, it links to a page on their website about your services, where it's crediting you, talking a little bit about your business, offering an affiliate discount or something like that. Or alternatively, it could be a page on your site that's that same concept, but for that specific client. It's totally up to you how you do it. And I teach you different ideas for figuring that out for yourself inside of Book.Designer. But first thing I should say here, you should always have a site credit. That's my first point. That's not about the contract clause, but something seriously it's so important as a designer. It is an amazing form of marketing. When someone likes your client's site that you made and they want a site too, they'll click on that site credit link and then find you. And I think sometimes designers think we don't have to do this if our client's not business to business. But even people who are not business to business have people who run businesses going to their website who are going to like the site and want to know who designed it. So I just really want to encourage you to always do a site credit. And just to even show just from my own business, some real life with that, I still get leads literally weekly from custom sites I designed years ago because of site credits. And I appreciate those leads very much. And I appreciate those clients keeping the site credit up since it still is the design I made for them. And I actually have it in my contract requiring them to do so as long as the design is the one I created. So that's what we're talking about here, right? Now, there are nuances to doing this, and I teach on that inside Book.Designer, but the clause I'm saying you need is a clause saying to keep the site credit as long as the site is a version designed by you. So early on in my business, though, to tell you a story about why you need this. Early on in my business, before I had this in my contract, and before I might have even had a contract at this time, or maybe one I just hodgepodge together, But I had a client who sold essential oils. She hired me for her website. This was back when I was on WordPress. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, either didn't have a contract or I had a bare bones one I wrote myself. So I definitely did not have anything about site credits in there. But she'd paid her deposit, paid probably like one other payment. And we had started working together. And at one point in the process, I sent her like a preview of her homepage as I was working on things, getting feedback and that whole process. And she noticed the site credit in the footer and it freaked her out. And she was like, I don't want that there. Can you remove it? And I'm like, wait, what? I'm kind of confused about why you wouldn't want that there. And then she told me that she too wanted to offer website design services eventually. She just didn't yet. And so she basically did not want to recommend me because she was also going to be doing website design later, which might seem weird, right? But there are a variety of reasons why a client might not want a site credit. It could be this sort of reason of maybe they think of themselves as a competitor of yours. Maybe they don't want their competitors to come to you for a website. Maybe they just don't want more stuff crowding their footer. Like there can be so many different reasons. But here's what I want to remind you of, like, those reasons are fine, but not having your site credit should cost extra because it's truly a marketing loss that therefore keeping that project private in that way should cost extra because it's a huge marketing loss. So for example, let's say you design a site for someone and you were to just book 2 clients because of that credit and you charge $6,000 a project. That is $12,000 loss. So that should increase the cost of the design this client bought because we're ultimately factoring in that loss because they don't want the credit. So that's how I want you to think of it in like kind of requiring this and putting it in your contract. And so second big part of this clause would be to have a section about what it will cost to have it removed. So this will protect you. It'll let your clients know up front that the site credit isn't just for fun, but it's like a major part of how you grow and build your business. And so having them like respect that, see that as a piece of it. And again, I teach this more in Book.Designer, but there's other ways you can make this beneficial for the client, like offering them an affiliate program, partial like referral system with you. That will definitely motivate a client to want to keep the site credit. But yeah, this is just so huge. So I would say for one-on-one client work, it's different for website templates, by the way. I want to say this is obviously website templates. We're not like signing contracts with people. But for one-on-one clients, I wanted to say you really need to, first of all, always do a site credit and then have a contract clause requiring the client to keep the site credit as long as it's a site designed by you. Okay, and the second must-have clause, this one applies to both brand designers, website designers, graphic designers, stationery, seriously any kind of designer. I call this clause the rights to claim work clause. I kind of made that up. But basically this means that you are able to share about the project in any way you want to. So my question for you, have you ever been doing a project and you're like so excited, you're working on it and you're like thinking, I wonder if I could share this work in progress logo sketch I made on my blog, or I really want to do an Instagram reel showing their color palette so far, or there's this design contest I'm seeing on Behance or another website and I want to enter this branding I did into it. So this clause I'm talking about basically is giving you the superpower to share about the project work, specifically the work you're doing during the project and at the end of it freely. And it should state that you can share about the project on social media, enter into design contests, put it on Pinterest, on your blog, all that kind of stuff. And then giving your clients the notice that they should tell you if any parts of the project need to remain confidential. So that way you don't have any more wondering or asking, that you can use parts of the project and that be your marketing superpower. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't still ask sometimes. Like, for example, let's say there's a logo, you had 3 logo concepts and one of them got rejected, but you really want to share the rejected one on Instagram because you're like, it's really good. I love it. It'd make for a great Instagram post or an Instagram reel or whatever. You could still ask them, like you could still message them and say like, hey, are you okay with me sharing logo 1 that we're not using? But I think it's still nice to have this in the contract. Especially when it comes to things like being able to enter it into a design contest or submit it to be on some sort of website. Getting that permission up front is really, really awesome and is going to help you feel more confident in your sharing. And specifically, again, being able to like submit it places. And then I would say too, being able to share it while it's a work in progress, because listen, you know what is great marketing that's great and natural as a designer? You're not really having to go out of your way because it's literally what you're doing. But being able to share about a successful project while you're working on it, like being able to do a story of like, hey, come with me today behind the scenes on this VIP day. I'm going to show you like, this is where the client's questionnaire is to start. And again, you might not show what actually they said on their questionnaire. That would be something I would say you should think of as more confidential, but you're showing like, hey, here's the process. We started with this questionnaire and now here's like the logo concept I'm drawing out. And here's the color palettes I'm thinking, which one would you do? Do you like number 1 or number 2? I'll let you know what the client picks. Like being able to show step by step behind the scenes, whether that's in a story, a reel, a post on your blog, like literally doesn't matter. That is amazing marketing. You're showing potential clients what it might feel like to be a client by letting them kind of walk with you through whatever process that is. So huge into the rights to claim work clause, as I so have coined it. So yeah, that's a really great one. So those are the 2 clauses requiring to keep your site credit and then giving you permission to openly share the work in progress and final work. So again, both of those clauses are included in my new contract template that you can get inside of Book.Designer. So if you're listening to this live or even the week after, I've got cool news for you. So next week, I kind of mentioned this already, but next week is what I am coining in my business Booked Out Week. So all week, I'm celebrating my Book.Designer students. We are doing some major promotions and bonuses for if you want to join Book.Designer during this particular week. The dates, let me look at my calendar real quick because sometimes I forget dates and get them wrong. So it's October 24th through 28th, which also happens to be the week of my 30th birthday. So it is Booked Out Week, Elizabeth's 30th birthday week. And we are doing amazing bonuses, promotions, and on this podcast. So make sure you're subscribed, but you're going to get to hear from some Book.Designer students, hear their whole story of like growing their business. Seriously awesome interviews I got to do. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear those. And yeah, you'll be able to like get some major promotions. So stay tuned. Make sure you're on my email list. And following on social media and listening to this podcast to get all the info about Booked Out Week. So if you're thinking about Book.Designer, thinking this course would help you in growing your business, you want to be a part of our community, you want this contract template I'm talking about, right now is going to be a perfect time to join. So you can go ahead and get more info on the course if you want. The sales page is live and all that before Booked Out Week starts. That's elizabethmccravey.com/BOD. And one more thing I want to add, sorry, I keep adding things, but I have a new resource I actually just made for designers that I would seriously say, like, come download it. It's awesome. But it's all about how to find your first paying design client ASAP. So literally places to look, strategies for booking clients. I'm sharing about 8 in that guide and talking you through really practically like how to find clients. So if you're struggling to find clients, this guide is going to help you. And you can get that at elizabethmccravey.com/ASAP. It's going to give you that guide there. So yeah, that is it. And I look forward to hanging out with you during Booked Out Week, the 24th through the 28th. And I hope this helped you and I hope you're excited about these contract templates. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast today and for staying until the end. I appreciate you being here. And if you enjoyed this episode, then I want to invite you to check out my online course and coaching program for designers, Booked Out Designer. In this program, I teach you how to build a successful in-demand booked out business as a designer. You'll learn everything from the exact experience I take my clients through to things like figuring out your niche, mastering discovery calls, pricing your services for profit, creating contracts that will not cause you legal troubles, and my exact social media strategies to book clients. You even get to watch recordings of me in actual meetings with my actual clients so you can really learn through what you're seeing. We take things you're learning on this podcast and so many topics I never even cover on this show and deep dive into them. So in addition to the amazing course, the course is 9 modules of teaching with over 90 lessons. You get group coaching calls with me and access to an exclusive Facebook community of designers just like you. And fun fact, this isn't one of those kind of Facebook groups where the founder never comments on posts or you never see them in there. You'll find me there all the time, ready to help you out with any business question you you have. So to get info on the course and to see when the doors will be opening again, head to elizabethmccravey.com/BOD, short for Booked Out Designer. I hope to be able to coach you and teach you inside of the course soon. And don't forget that you can subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening so that you never miss an episode. And a great way to support the show is to leave a rating and review, share it with a friend, share it on social media. All of that will help get the word out. All right, I'll see you again next week.